Dear learners, today we will discuss about mitochondria. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of a cell. Mitochondria is the site where two major biochemical pathways take place. If you consider a glucose or if you consider the metabolism of carbohydrate, say for example glucose, by the glycolysis it is converted into pyruvic acid, which is further linked with TCA cycle, and the end product of TCA cycle it links with the electron transport chain where the complete oxidation of glucose takes place. So these two pathways which are important for the energy generation, they are carried out inside the mitochondria. And why we call it as the powerhouse of a cell? Because it is converted into usable form. We all know that ATP is regarded as the energy currency, energy which is required for the different biological processes that is generated into the mitochondria. And it is obvious that the cells which require more amount of energy, they will having more number of mitochondria inside them. For example, the muscle cells. Mitochondria, their membrane is double membrane. So the membrane which is present on the outer side is regarded as an outer membrane. The one which is onto the interior side is regarded as an inner membrane. The liquid or aqueous solution that is present inside the inner membrane is regarded as a matrix, and this matrix, the inner membrane, is further folded. It is folded in the cristae, or we call it as singular crista. So why it is folded? So as to increase the surface area, and because of that more amount of energy they can be helpful in synthesis. Mitochondria, they are almost present in all eukaryotic cells, whether it is a plant cell or it is an animal cell. Mitochondria are again unique molecules. They contains their own genetic material. If you remember, we have discussed about endosymbiotic theory, and endosymbiotic theory gives a support that, or based upon the findings that mitochondria and chloroplast, they do have their own DNA or their own genetic material. Along with the genetic material, this mitochondria also have the ribosomes which match with that of the prokaryotic cells. So it proves that the today's mitochondria or present day mitochondria were one time unicellular bacteria which have came in contact with the large organisms, and now they are part of this eukaryotic cell. Next is ribosome. So we have discussed this in prokaryotic cell. Similar structure is present in eukaryotic cell. The only difference is in case with prokaryotic cell, the ribosome were of 70S ribosome. In case with eukaryotic cell, it is 80S. Now ribosomes, they are a complex molecule consisting of RNA, rRNA particularly, and proteins. So therefore we call it as a ribosomes. Zome means body. RNA and proteins, their conjugate, we call it as a ribosome. Ribosomes, they contains rRNAs which are synthesized inside the nucleolus of a nucleus. Then they are exported to the cytoplasm. The protein component is added to rRNA inside the cytoplasm. Now these ribosomes, they play important role in the process of protein synthesis, that is translation. These ribosomes, like that of prokaryotic ribosomes, they are made up of two different subunits, small subunit and large subunit. Its diameter is around 25 nanometer. They are not surrounded by any membrane. or any extra membrane, as that was seen in case with the mitochondria and will be seen in case with the chloroplast. These ribosomes, they can remain in free form inside the cytoplasm. So such ribosomes are regarded as in free ribosomes, or these ribosomes can be associated with the endoplasmic reticulum. Because of their association with endoplasmic reticulum, this endoplasmic reticulum gets a rough appearance. Therefore, we call them as an rough ER or rough endoplasmic reticulum. Next is endoplasmic reticulum. So endoplasmic reticulum is the very next organelle that we find after the nuclear membrane. So it is continuous with the nucleus, or it is continuous with the nuclear membrane of an eukaryotic cell. So we don't find these organelles in prokaryotic cell. So they are a network of flattened sacs. We call them as an cristae. Rough endoplasmic reticulum, as we have discussed, if the ribosomes are adhered or they are associated with endoplasmic reticulum, it gives the appearance rough in nature. So we call them as a rough endoplasmic reticulum. Here in this image we can find this blue color structure is the rough endoplasmic reticulum, and this tiny dots, small dots, they are the ribosomes. These are the ribosomes associated with endoplasmic reticulum. Therefore, it gives appearance to the endoplasmic reticulum as rough. Like rough endoplasmic reticulum, there are also smooth endoplasmic reticulum. These are the endoplasmic reticulum which are not associated with ribosome. That is, they are devoid of ribosome. Now, the function of this endoplasmic reticulum, it helps in the process of protein synthesis. As we have discussed, the outer nuclear membrane is continuous with rough endoplasmic reticulum's membrane. A rough endoplasmic reticulum's membrane is continuous with that of smooth endoplasmic reticulum's membrane. So this is a continuous web structure. Rough endoplasmic reticulum, it helps into the synthesis of proteins. That is, we know the ribosome, the smaller subunit of ribosome, it attaches to the mRNA, newly synthesized mRNA, then the tRNA, with the help of the genetic code, it decodes the information present on mRNA, and later on the charged tRNA binds to it, that is, it brings up an amino acid, then the largest subunit it comes and binds, thus it helps in the process of protein synthesis. Now, these proteins are processed inside rough endoplasmic reticulum. The secretory proteins particularly, they are synthesized inside the rough endoplasmic reticulum. They help in the packaging of these molecules, proteins, into transport vesicles. They also help in forming the small structures, that is vesicles. They are pinching form of the membrane, and which keeps on moving to the subsequent organelle. That is, if we look after this structure, this pathway is regarded as a COP2 pathway. COP, that is coated protein second. COP second pathway. Coated protein second pathway. That is from nucleus to rough endoplasmic reticulum, from rough endoplasmic reticulum to Golgi, and from Golgi the protein is transported. If it is a secretory protein, it is given outside. So this pathway is regarded as a COP2 pathway. They helps in the transport of vesicles, that is to migrate to the Golgi apparatus. The function of smooth endoplasmic reticulum, it is mainly involved in the synthesis of fatty acids like phospholipids and steroids and cholesterols like. Some are packaged into transport vesicles like that we have seen in case with the rough endoplasmic reticulum, made from pinching some of the smooth endoplasmic membrane, that is formation of vesicles. This vesicle, if they carry the proteins or any other molecule, we call them as in transport vesicles. This transport vesicles, they migrate to Golgi, and this smooth endoplasmic reticulum also is a reservoir. It stores and releases the calcium ion, which is required in the muscle for the movement across, or for the movement of that cells. Next organelle is the Golgi. It is known that we can also call it as a Golgi apparatus or Golgi body. It is a network of flattened sacs as that of endoplasmic reticulum. First crystini made up from transport vesicle from both endoplasmic reticulum. So the vesicles here we can find from endoplasmic reticulum, the small transport vesicles are formed, which carries this yellow color dot or orange color dot. It is the protein. So this protein is loaded in a small vesicles. These vesicles are they are made to transport from ER to Golgi. The Golgi which is facing towards the endoplasmic reticulum, or which is on the inner side, we can call it as an cis Golgi. These vesicles, they keep on moving, they get fused with the larger cristae, they deposit the molecule of interest, that is protein, into this structure. It further gets dissociated again and is transported towards from cis to medial Golgi, and from medial it is given out to the trans Golgi. So from ER, the transport vesicles are moving to the cis Golgi. From cis Golgi, they are transported to the medial Golgi, and from medial Golgi, they are transported to the trans Golgi. And from that, it can be given outside the cell if the protein is of secretory nature. So this pathway is COP2 pathway, that is coated protein second pathway, moving from ER to Golgi to the outside of a cell. Another pathway, that is for the cytosolic protein. The proteins may be synthesized by same pathway, but it is further taken back inside the organelles. So this pathway, which is in the reverse direction, after the synthesis of these proteins, it is taken inside by the COP1 pathway. We have discussed that the Golgi is regarded as the post office of a cell. That is, it attaches a tag onto the surface of a protein. That is, if a protein is synthesized, where it will function depending upon the tag that has been attached by the Golgi apparatus, the protein is destined to function. So Golgi helps in the transporting the newly synthesized protein to its target organelle. Secretory vesicles migrate to the cell membrane. Membrane of secretory vesicle fuse with the cell membrane, and proteins and lipids are secreted out of the cells. This is in case with the secretory protein. Secretory protein means the proteins which functions outside the cell. Most of the enzymes that we find in living organisms, they are functioning by this pathway. So this is an overview of the rough endoplasmic reticulum, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and Golgi apparatus. Here we can find this structure. The interior structure is the nucleus. Through this nuclear pore, this newly synthesized mRNA is formed. This mRNA is obviously the processed mRNA, which is transported or which is given out to the rough endoplasmic reticulum, where the ribosome present on the surface of rough endoplasmic reticulum, it helps in the process of translation initiation. After the process of translation takes place, it is transported with the help of transport vesicles from ER to it can be transported to smooth endoplasmic reticulum, or it can be transported to the Golgi apparatus. Wherein Golgi apparatus, again these vesicles, they get fused and again they are further transported outside the cell. If the protein is of secretory nature. This pathway is COP2 pathway, and the reverse of it is COP1 pathway. So from nucleus, where the transcription takes place, the newly formed mRNA is further processed. It is converted from hnRNA to mature mRNA, and that mRNA is further taken to the Golgi apparatus. From rough endoplasmic reticulum lumen, the protein is synthesized. It is packed into the small vesicles, transport vesicles. These vesicles are further transported to the Golgi, and from Golgi it is given out to the target organelle. That organelle, if it is present inside a cell, then we call it as an cytosolic protein. Or if the protein is going to function outside the cell, then that protein is regarded as secretory protein. Next organelle is lysosome. Lysosome, as the name suggests, lysis means to break or to destroy, and soma means the body. So lysosome is an organelle which contains the enzymes required for the breaking down of some biomolecules. So lysosome, it is organelle used to destroy the other biomolecules. Small vesicles from rough endoplasmic reticulum or Golgi apparatus, how they are synthesized we have discussed rightly. This can be transported to the lysosomes, which contains some digestive enzymes like proteases, the enzyme which breaks down the protein component. Lipases are the enzymes which breaks down the lipid components. DNAs, they are the enzymes which selectively breaks down the DNAs. RNAs are the enzymes which selectively breaks down the RNAs. So these different digestive enzymes, they are packed or they are present inside the lysosome. Now the worn out organelles, or the organelles whose function is not required, they can be engulfed, or if the function has been complete, they are destined to get lost. So they are destroyed by the mechanism of autophagy. Autophagy means the cell itself, it decides to kill that cell, and for that it takes the help of lysosomes, which contains lysosomal enzyme. The other molecules like viruses, bacteria and some other components which gain entry inside a cell, they can be lysed out with the help of phagocytosis. In immunology, we know that the foreign component, that is we call them as antigen, they can be hydrolyzed, they can be broken down by the mechanism of phagocytosis. Phago means eating, cytosis means cell. So that is cellular eating. So the cells which are infected with the viruses or containing the foreign bodies, they are destroyed by the mechanism of phagocytosis. So for that, the lysosome, it plays important role. That is the molecule which, or the cell which is destined to get broken down, is fused with the lysosome, and that structure, phagolysosome, one intermediate structure is formed, which is further broken down into smaller components. That is the product of digestion, it released by the cells. Now why there is a requirement of such separate organelle for that? So these enzymes, these digestive enzymes, they are best functioning at acidic pH, and we know that the cytoplasm, it is having around pH having around 7 or 7.4. So that is around neutral, it is functioning at around neutral pH, while this digestive enzymes, they function best at acidic pH, that is around 4.8 pH. Therefore these digestive enzymes, they are clubbed or they are clustered inside one organelle, they are membrane bound. That is, the pH of cytoplasm is 7, pH of lysosome is around 4.8. Enzymes in lysosome works best at 4.8 pH, that is, they are acidic enzymes. Enzymes in lysosome would get destroyed. It can destroy all the cytosolic or cytoplasmic components the cellular organelles and the cell membrane. So to protect the cell from its own harm, it has been packed, or it is present inside one membrane bound organelle, that is lysosome. Next organelle is peroxisome. Peroxisome is also similar to that of lysosome. The only difference is the peroxisome, they are the organelle which are containing catalase enzymes in it, which helps in the oxidation. Along with that, these organelles break down the substances inside the cell, usually the toxin molecules. So which by for any reason they have gained entry inside the cell, they are broken down by these peroxisome. So with the help of lysosome, similarly peroxisome also synthesizes an enzyme called as a catalase, which breaks down that molecules. Next organelle, or we can say the component of a cell, is the cell cytoskeleton, that is centrioles and microtubules. Cytoskeleton. Skeleton, we know that skeleton means something which on the basis of which the whole architect has been formed, and cytoskeleton means the skeleton of the cell. Now what is the function of the cytoskeleton? Cytoskeleton, as we have discussed earlier, cytoskeleton, it helps in formation of a particular structure. So formation of the cell structure, that is shape of a cell, is decided upon by the cell cytoskeleton, and microfilaments, they are playing important role in that. Apart from giving the particular structure to the cell, they are also helping out in the positioning of the organelle inside a cell. They keeps the different organelle in their place. They also help in the movement of the different organelles within a cell and outside the cell. Like for the within, microtubules are involved. They can change the location of organelles, they can change the movement of vesicles, the movement of chromosomes in cell division. So we have discussed that is microtubule organizing regions. It binds, or with the help of such threads, they binds to this kinetochore of the chromosome, and it helps in the localizing these chromosomes to different positions during the process of cell division, that is during prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. So these microtubules, they help in that case. Centrosomes, the microtubule organizing centers we can call, made up of two centrioles, that is they help in the movement of these chromosomes to different regions. Centrioles, they are having short hollow cylinder like structures, again around 25 nanometer wide in structure, made up of polymers called as tubulins. So these tubulins are the proteins which helps in the formation of this structure. The cilia and flagella, they are also synthesized by the cell cytoskeleton components. So we know that they are helpful in the movement and attachment to the particular substratum. They contain specialized arrangement of microtubules. Some cells use them for the process of movement. The next organelle we will discuss in eukaryotic cell is the chloroplast. Chloroplast, it contains its own DNA. Again, if you remember the endosymbiotic theory, where we have discussed about mitochondria and chloroplast. So this chloroplast, it contains its own DNA. This organelle, it contains thylakoids, where it is harvesting the solar energy and converting it into the biochemical energy. So that is converting one form of energy into another form. It is involved in the synthesis process. So photosynthesis is mainly involved in this particular organelle. The membrane and hollow lumen is present over there. Again, it consists of two membrane structure, internal membrane and external membrane. It consists of a stack of the granum or we call it as grana. So this stacking is of that of grana. It is double membrane as we have discussed. The cytoplasm of chloroplast contains chloroplasm, or we can call them as a stroma. So chloroplast, they are the organelle which is mainly involved in the process of photosynthesis.